Edition 31 of the Exponential Blueprint. Now, today we're going to discover why 83% of the investors they ask this same question before you get funded. Okay, so this week we're going to look at the $405 million mistake that most founders make without realizing. Okay, so we start with our sponsor, with Picasso, and then let's move forward. Okay, so most of the time what we find is that founders, they think the cost center is to be treated like a cost. Well, actually, the cost center, the supply chain, which is usually treated as a cost center, can actually become your valuation engine. Now, today we're going to tell you about the untold power of supply chain. Now, first of all, I wanted to thank all the 22,000 founders, investor, and C-suite executive who read our newsletter every week. Now, you know that we do not deliver information, we deliver transformation. Now, let's now come to the supply chain, and let's see how the supply chain can become magically a valuation multiplier, especially when properly aligned with intellectual property and capital efficiency. Now, first of all, let me remind you about what happened since 2017. In 2017, we established a CFO program that helps founders scale with confidence. Now, our goal in 2017 was not just to create funding solution for investors, funders and investors effectively. So leveling up funders and investors. We wanted to find a situation where the investors will not want to wait to buy your business, okay? So that became the Exponential CFO program. Now, inside this blueprint, what you're going to find is 20 video modules that will cover IP, pricing, cash flow, scaling, and valuation. Now, a full year execution roadmap. You're going to have tools that are going to be easy for you to digest, unlike most of the financial language that you will find in so many financial documentation and newsletter and product, So I strongly advise that you book your access today because there's limited availability. And don't forget, this is about scaling your business like a $100 million World Cup team year. This is the photograph of the 2017 pilot we ran with the University of Plymouth. After that, as you will remember from previous version of our YouTube videos, we sold the program in 2018 and 2019 before the COVID crisis strike. And as of today, while I'm currently managing a book of $500 million for a business doing mergers and acquisition, I'm also running this program for all of you. Now, we started the newsletter by talking you through a difference between new business with same revenues, but with different EBITDA margin. Now, the different EBITDA margin creates such a difference in valuation multiple. Yeah, so you can see 6 times or 9 times. So as you can see, the second business really treated supply chain as a major valuation engine, and that's the result. $405 million difference. So the business B aligned the supply chain with IP, intellectual property, ESG principle, and smart financing. Well, business A did not. They just, did business as usual without any real thought about how to really conquer more margin with the supply chain management. You will also have a chance in the newsletter to watch a small episode about the upcoming YouTube premiere dedicated to the intermittent trading system that will revolutionize private share trading. So this method of trading shares privately for small company will revolutionize how investors really invest in private companies and how finance is arranged, between companies and investor. And obviously that will give so much more visibility for so many businesses that right now have no clue about the valuation as we speak. Now, valuation is no longer about revenue. It's about operational control. We got two cases here. One is positive, one is negative. The positive one is about leading skincare brand. They implemented AI-based forecasting and nearshore production. So they become so much faster at delivering goods, and they grew margin a lot by 18%. So that made them a 12 times exit multiple. What about the negative case? We go hardware, SaaS company, outsource production to Asia, no redundancies, so no really attention to cost. Then there was a global shipping freeze. They missed delivery windows. So, and the venture capitalists, they pulled the term sheet. Now, we have an insight from Boston Consulting Group. The supply chain digitization can increase EBITDA by 15 to 20%. Yeah, they just prove margin optimization, agility, and working capital control. Now, the second point is about IP alone. Doesn't make you rich. IP plus supply chain does make you rich. That's absolutely the case. And we can see a positive case, a biotech firm that patented a novel probiotic strain. They didn't license it. Immediately, they built their own GMP certified facility, boosting margin from 42 to 79%. Yeah. And it was acquired at a 9-figure valuation. Okay. So we're talking about really hundreds of millions. Negative case, we got an AgriTech business. They patented a sensor, but they immediately relinquished control for the manufacturing. There was a leakage of intellectual property, and a competitor killed them with a near identical product. Now, Harvard Business Review a few years ago found that IP-rich companies without aligned operation had 2.3 times lower profitability than those with vertically coordinated fulfillment strategy. Next point, you don't have to own, you just have to control. Okay. Positive case, we got a European fashion tech brand that 18 independent ateliers. They use shared key performance indicators, blockchain tracking, strict standard operating procedures, scale to 30 countries without capex. Okay, without unnecessary funding. Negative case, a sustainable packaging startup, raise capital, build their own facilities, but costs ballooned. Supply bottlenecks emerge and growth flatline. Capex at outpace revenue. We got some finding here. Bain & Co. Asset-like companies using platform chain scale twice faster and attract better capital efficiency multiple. While Garner also found that ecosystem partnership are really, really important over vertical integration. Next is about supply chains. They're now ESG gatekeepers. Yeah, so many people think ESG is just ticking boxes. It's not. So we got a positive case with a packaging startup, immediately implemented traceability and life cycle CO2 metrics across the supply chain. They secured funding through BlackRock and a major supermarket listing. Negative case, an eco-food brand. They source palm oil from illegal farms. And when they were exposed, investors fled, retailers pulled them, and total collapse. Now, PwC, let's go back to our title. Now, 83% of institutional investors, they will review Scope 3 supply chain emissions before invested. Now, ESG, supply chain governance, is not an optional. So remember that ESG supply chain is absolutely fundamental. It's a requirement when you want to get money from an institutional investor. The last lesson is about the cash flow. Cash flow doesn't just come from sales. It comes from operational agility. Let's get a positive case. a B2B electronics company adopted supply chain financing. So they extended payables and shortening inventory cycle. So really an intelligent working capital management situation. Free cash flow improved by 30%. Negative case, an e-commerce startup with strong sales found itself insolvent because cash was trapped in inventory, which effectively killed cash, and they lack supply credit terms. So there is a down round, 40% lower valuation. Now, another finding from McKinsey, when you optimize working capital via supply chain actions, is the fastest way to high cash flow yield and investor attractiveness. Okay, so this is the formula for you. Valuation equal IP multiply supply chain multiply execution. Just think about this now. Your intellectual property create uniqueness, but your supply chain eventually protects it and monetizes it. And your cash flow strategies will unlock scale without dilution. Now, that's what I'm talking about with the valuation machine. And that's where our valuation triangle really comes to life. In this edition, you will find a short video with Jim Joyce, Intellectual Property Superpower. How do you protect and profit? So how to build your moat. Watch it. It's really a great piece of information for all those who are looking to understand how you build your moat. Then we got another video here. Short video. It's about the shocking financial mistakes that the CEO make when they scale up. And me as a CFO, I am interviewed by Sam Palazzolo from the USA. As usual, we got the M&A expert corner from Indonesia, but this time Margaret Bowles tells us about the timeline in Asia, how much longer it takes for an M&A activity to be executed. And that's also down to culture in many, many ways. So there's a good piece with a few words from Margaret. And here you can also watch my podcast with Margaret, where we spoke about the $3.5 trillion opportunity that you don't want to miss out. Once again, thank you so much for being part of this mission. Now, today, the phrase is let's stop managing spreadsheet and let's start building equity. Thank you again, all you 22,000 subscribers. Now, don't forget to subscribe also to my YouTube channel by pushing the button to your right. Now, if you want to scale like a $100 million World Cup team, there's a link on the comments below where you will be able to join all the entrepreneurs that have already joined the Exponential Blueprint. It's really fantastic to have you. I just cannot wait to hear from you, from your comments. Your support is absolutely unprecedented. I can only be grateful. Without you, I wouldn't be able really to find the energy to give you all this, all these tips to transform your business. Don't forget, we do not deliver information. We deliver transformation. And join our program about the high valuation triangle immediately. We'll wait for you there. Don't forget there's limited availability for this week. Thank you very much. Bye.